Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome, everybody, to a Monday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Mr. Sam Deeds, how are you, sir?
Tired, man. Tired. Long weekend.
I know. You didn't get into midnight last night, right?
Yeah. We had a show at 1 o'clock in southern New Jersey. And as soon as the show was over with, we packed up, put everything in the plane. They flew back home, and I made the 10-hour drive because we can't put pyro in the plane.
Right.
So I had to drive it out, and which I don't mind. I love driving. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it was a long day because I had to get up early, had to do some blood draw for my yearly annual physical and all that good stuff. So
Gotta love it.
And then back out the door on Friday to the East Coast again for some Navy football. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. And then you got your best friend here on the world saying, "Hey, come join me on the podcast," when you should be napping.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't mind any time that I'm available and I don't have anything going on. I'm more than willing to jump on.
There you go.
Just don't bother me from the 25th to the 2nd of October.
I know you'll be in sunny Hawaii on vacation.
Absolutely. Me and the wife are taking off for our 20th wedding anniversary. That's my present to her. So spend the week in Hawaii.
Well, you need to turn your phone off. Leave the wife's phone on, so in case the kids call or try to get in touch with you. Your phone, you're offline. Nobody can get a hold of you. So that's what you should do.
I'd like to say I'm going to leave it here at the house, but a friend of mine that lives out there is going to take us to the Arizona, take us to Pearl, and some other places around the island. So I'd like to have those photos on my phone too, right? Because we start sending them, whether it's text or email, some depiction gets lost. So but I will not be answering my phone. I don't care who's calling.
Yeah, you need to put it in do not disturb mode and just go that way with it, and then have the kids call the wife's phone. So,
how's everything on your end? You back to work yet? Strike going on still?
Yeah, we started back to work today. Today was day one back to work. So we got a tentative agreement. So it's not the prettiest agreement out there. A lot of the union guys are like, man, we're not going to approve it. So we're going to have to get together and talk about what they gave us and what they took away, because they give you something, they're taking something away.
Right. Yeah.
So we got to figure that out. What's up, Mr. Richard Fleek? How are you, sir? But yeah, today was day one back. My mother-in-law over the weekend got to come home finally, which was been a long drawn out process, but we finally did get her back home. So I went there today to help her get some things set up at her house because she ain't been there in a minute. And we had somebody staying there, and had to make sure everything was clean for her when she came home, and get it accessible for her. So I was being the good son-in-law and making sure all that was taken care of. But no, man, it's just I'm glad to be back to work. Put in some overtime before I go out for my knee surgery, October the 22nd. So just got to make some money just to catch up on some bills. We were out for 5 weeks. So
yeah. I'm sure your wife's happy that you're back to work too.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, but yeah, no. So let's talk about a little bit about our guests that we got coming on tonight. So we got Mr. Robert Banis. I want to make sure, did I say that right? Banis, coming on the show tonight. And I did have all of his pages pulled up before my internet crashed on me just a second ago. But he is the host of a nationally syndicated radio show called the Lima Charlie Show. And if you are in the military, you know what Lima Charlie stands for. So we're going to bring him up in just one second. Now, he is an Army veteran. I was trying to type in. I guess I should have done this just a second ago. He is an Army veteran. I can't remember. Did you retire? Yes or no? Thumbs up or thumbs down? He didn't retire. So you can go see his website. I'm getting ready to put it in the chat. It is a nationally syndicated radio show. And here, let's see. Go full screen on that. So it's the Lima Charlie Show, sharing U.S. veteran stories of service loud and clear. Phone number, limacharlieshow.com. Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Listen local on WEBR 1440 AM, 105.3 FM, WLVL 1340 AM in Buffalo, New York. So if you're up there, you can also probably search other area, his show on like iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and all of them, and you might be able to find him on there and listen to him live that way as well. Or look up and see if you can go to the National Syndicated page to see where it might be playing in your local area. So let's bring Mr. Robert up to the stage. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good
Nice to be included. I appreciate it. How you guys doing?
Hey, we're doing all right. How are you?
Fantastic.
There you go.
Yeah, if I was any better, I'd be Willis.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Well, I'm glad to hear you are back to work, because I've been listening every week and catching up. You've had quite the month and change there. So.
Oh man, I tell you what, it's been fun getting in. Well, for one, walking the picket line, and getting to know everybody on a more personal level. Because when you work with some of these guys, so I got like 6 or 7 guys that are in my unit. So I'm a machine operator. So there's like 6 or 7 of us. Well, we come in at 7 a.m. and by the time we leave the lot, we don't get to see the rest of the people in there. We get to see them in passing. But now, with being on the picket line for 30 plus days, we got to know them on a more personal level, which is good because it builds better morale. Kind of like being in the military, you get to know people on a personal level, and the morale's better. So, well, do me a favor, Mr. Robert. Introduce yourself and give a little bit of your backstory, if you don't mind.
Sure. Short version is spent most of my military career with the National Guard, and as I was telling Gunny just a little bit earlier, I'm from upstate New York originally, but National Guard being what it was, we were attached to another unit from downstate, which was the 69th Infantry. That's who I spent, I will say, the most meaningful year and change of my time with Uncle Sam. That's when we went to the sandbox with them, and so born and raised upstate New York. Did just over 8 years of service. Got out in, I think the paperwork says January, but had some leave. So I think we got back in fall of 05 and out in 06. And been self-employed or a soldier basically since I was 18 years old. So I went back to business for a while. And here I am all these years later. I've lost track, but it feels like it's closing in on 20 years since the war.
Right.
So the memories are almost old enough to drink on their own, but overall, as far as my time on the service and how that connects to the show is, I do host the Lima Charlie Show, and I get to spend at least 1 or 2 hours a week talking to fellow veterans, which is honestly like the best part of my week. As far as it's like going to the gym and everything else all at once. So.
Oh,
That's how
that
that's how
living
we met, of course. Willis.
Yeah,
Willis
it's
has
that
been on the
living
show.
history. It's eventually kids might learn about this in history class, right, or in a
I
book
hope so.
somewhere. But with you and platforms like Willis, it's the veterans being able to tell their life events. We all say stories, but they're truly life events that happen to each and every one of us. And I tell my kids all the time, like my short deployment to Iraq, that 63, 64 days that I was there before my injury, that guy to the right of me, even though we were there the same exact time, walked the same steps and everything, his depiction is way different than mine. Right. So to get all those stories, all those life events out to whoever's listening, and it may resonate for, especially with like a Gold Star family that had a loved one that served in that same area and or even somebody that served in their unit, that they might mention their loved one's name and be like, oh, they knew my son. And they might try to reach out and there's connections being made. So it's that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's we all do it differently, and that's our walk in life. Everybody had we do things very similar, but our path is different, and like you said, Sam, it's different vantage points, different. Me and you could be doing the same thing, but I'm going to see it differently than you are.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you're a little bit shorter than me too, so that
just a little bit, why you gotta call me out like that, bro? But no, so you've had some. So out of all the guests that you've had that come on your show, give me your top 5 favorite guests that you've had on your show.
Well, that's like saying which kid's the best, But I gotta tell you, we've had quite the range. So I can tell you, we've had every branch now, and that was interesting because Space Force is now a branch.
Yeah.
So I can tell you the range of guests just to show you the variety and to back up what we're all saying is that we've all had different experiences. I've had David Vermillion on. He's Space Force serving right now, and because of the way that was spun up, he actually served in 3 branches because he went Air Force first, then Navy. I said that backwards. Sorry, Navy, Air Force, and then Space Force. Because as he was going through, he was like, "Hey, this is an option for me," and they let him go into it. So he was the youngest. He's the youngest so far. And go to the top range of that, I had Sam Baker, who, God bless him, just turned 103 last month.
Oh, man.
Sam Baker, you gentlemen would both admire, and you should check his story out because he was a Marine veteran. Signed up after Pearl Harbor, like literally that day. And fascinating story of service there. His first platoon that he was given command over was, they showed up on a bus coming from the brig.
Holy cow.
So he had a lot of stories as someone who was fresh to the Marine Corps at a time of war, and he was in charge of folks that were not too keen on authority.
Yeah, release the brig to fill the roles.
Yeah, so that's the age range. And then, like I said, we've had every branch. We've had MOSs from like 88 mics, truck drivers. We've had chaplains. We've had, it's just, I guess that's the point, right? It's letting people that might not be as familiar with the military as we are know that there's more to it than what you see in a movie, what you hear on the news. We all have lives. We all have, different childhoods, different backgrounds, and that means we have a different mindset. Yeah, we can get in line. We can conform, and we can get the job done as a team, as one unit. True, all day. We're the best at that. But that doesn't mean we don't have our own thoughts. We just suspend that sometimes because we're mission focused. And I think that's the overwhelming lesson that a lot of listeners call me and say, wow, I never thought of that. They don't realize what the average service member sacrifices for, not even talking about combat, just the nature of being in the military and suspending your own, I don't want to say your values, because that's not a fair statement, but you're not going to be selfish. You're not going to put your wants and needs. You're not going to open your mouth every time you have a thought. You're going to hang back. You're going to learn, and you're going to learn how to work with other people who have completely different backgrounds. Show me another job where you can pull it off. It's a remarkable skill set we all have, and it's just a thrill. It's a real thrill because so I don't have any favorites. I really don't. Every week I'm learning from them. And every week I get phone calls, emails. We get feedback from people who they say that they're learning more and more about the military and getting more. I think we're getting more respect for the military.
Yeah, definitely. When I answer that question, I always say my next one is my
Yeah.
favorite. Always, because I'm always excited about the people that because I spend a lot of time looking into people that I'm bringing onto the show, and so I
Sure.
always get excited about the next one, because you never know what information they're going to give out and what they're going to talk about, and it's just like, all right, my next one is always my favorite. And I've talked to a bunch of singer songwriters, and they say the same thing. I ask them, what's your favorite song? They're like, my next one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's always my next one. That's what I always say.
Well, and
So
and Hollywood depicts fighter pilots and infantry. That's it, right? So there are cooks and admin and supply, and I mean, so many other support jobs out there that's all people see, or the Navy SEALs, right? So it's Navy SEALs,
Yeah.
it's, the special operations community, it's fighter pilots and it's infantry. That's all you see in Hollywood. You don't get to see the guy that's, making sure that you have the correct amount of leave on the books, or your pay's right, or you have the proper gear to go, or the motor T guys that are transporting you out
Feed
there.
you, clothe you, drive you.
Yeah.
So I know when we were in at 2nd Battalion 8th Marines, they did away with the Cook MOS when we were with Golf Company. Do you remember that, Sam? When
They
did away with that?
they brought in civilians to do the job, but they still had the field cooks, so the ones that
Yes.
deployed with us that did the K-Rats or whatever it was.
Yeah, so I had some good friends so I was infantry, and I had some good friends that worked in the chow hall right by our barracks, and
Heck yeah, they hooked you up when you came.
they hooked you up. Yeah, I'd go in there and be like, "Hey, hook me up," but no,
the mail and the people that get you the mail and the food, you leave them alone.
Yeah, those are
Absolutely.
the ones you don't mess with. You can mess with any other MOS, you just don't mess with the cooks and the mailmen. That's for sure. And yeah, I'd go over their barracks. We play spades and stuff like that, and build that camaraderie with them. And it's just I miss it. Don't get me wrong, I miss the camaraderie of the military, but that's where you got to find your niche. And it's like doing this podcast and doing veteran charity work. That's my niche. That's where I have started rebuilding that camaraderie and reconnecting with people, especially some old unit mates that Sam and I served with, reconnecting with them on Facebook and getting to hear their story, what happened after I left 2-8 and stuff like that, and to see their journey. So yes,
when you were doing your reset, Rob and I talked about that, how we served together, Meta Boot Camp, SOI, and then into the fleet, and how we lost our connection because we both went different ways, and then 20 plus years later we reconnected, and it was because of Facebook, and it happens all the time. I mean, I've had guys reach out to me that we served with too, that, hey, are you the same? I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
The beard, the gray in the beard, and the beard itself just throws a lot of people off.
So what got you into doing the Lima Charlie show, and then how did you wind up getting into syndication?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny long story. I'll do it backwards a little bit. The Lima Charlie show was not my first attempt at a radio show. It was actually my third.
Okay.
And it was always a hobby. It was never like for business or anything. But my first enlistment, I was actually a cook. Funny enough, we were talking about cooks. Switched over to 12 Bravo, which is combat engineer, and then got deployed overseas with the infantry unit. And I spent most of my time, I spent a majority of my time on the radio. Actually, either with patrol or TOC or whatever, you're on the radio. So I enjoy the back and forth. I had a ham radio license for a while. It was just fun. So after the war, at one point I went back to college. And in college, I had a small 1-hour radio show on campus. But back then, my focus was student veterans, obviously. So that was more geared towards the content. There was like GI benefits, employment, internships, things like that. So I spent every episode. I mean, yeah, I had fun doing like history segments, and I did some fun trivia, military trivia, for people that weren't in the military. But any other veteran that was on the show back then, it was really about, let's make sure after college you're squared away. So we had employers, and I kind of worked that angle. It was like get them out there and help them find some career paths. And of course, I found my own career path brilliantly through post college and all that stuff. I lucked out pretty big there. So I tried that, and then during the recession, I had a very dear friend who also wanted to try a radio show similar to what I'm doing, sort of. Little pieces of it. He was really focused on history, and we thought that'd be fun to do. But we couldn't find any station that thought there was a need for that. There was just no appetite for two vets that want to talk about history. It didn't get anyone's attention. I didn't know anyone in the radio business. We were literally just cold calling, and nobody got or understood what we were talking about.
Right.
So keep in mind, that was 2008, right? This is before social media really took off. It's before we had the options we have now. This is literally calling AM radio stations. So couldn't take it off. And now, so the war prompted me to go back to college. I had a small show there just as a student veteran. The recession prompted me to want to do it again, but no one wanted to take it. Well, the pandemic gave me lots of time, and I had my own money at that point. So I'm like, I'll just buy the airtime.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I lucked out because there's a local station here. One of the better ones is a historic station. It's WBR in Buffalo, New York. If you look that up, the call sign's 100 years old. It's owned by a veteran. It's a fantastic gentleman that owns the place. And he's passionate about local radio. He's passionate about community-driven topics. Nice. So when I called him up and said, hey, I want to do it, like, he didn't even let me finish the sentence. He's like, yeah, let's do it. It was that simple for him.
That's awesome.
And we've been doing it for a couple of years now.
It basically was meant to be.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, literally. We met and agreed on all the details actually on Veterans Day. So here you have two veterans who were self-employed, both had a lot of things going on, a lot of invitations to be places on Veterans Day. And we both committed a meeting and just getting it done. And we've been on the air ever since. We did it. We started off as a 1-hour program. I think late last year we went to a 2-hour format, and it's always included a guest, like Willis was a guest on the show. It's always included another veteran guest. It always includes some veteran musicians because we like to play some songs. We have a little GI Jam session now, and then we always include a little bit of history.
GI Jam, I like it. I like it.
Yep. So it's the idea there. It's all voices of veterans. I mean, I have had a couple exceptions. If we have a Gold Star family or someone of that caliber that, in my opinion, commands all the airtime they want, we do that on special segments and special shows. But the interview portion is about a veteran's individual story of service and what they've been doing ever since, and it seems to resonate with a lot of people. So the syndication thing wasn't something I went out for; it just kind of came up, and here we are. So
well, and that helps veterans understand that there is something past their service, their time of service, whether it's their 4-year, 40-year, whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? It's so for me, I retired as a gunny medically. I'd be 3 years from 30 right now. It was 2 weeks from the time my paperwork came in to the time that my retirement date hit. I had 2 weeks. So I didn't have a great transition period. I had no sense of direction, no sense of purpose. And then it wasn't until 3 years later, I found the position that I'm in now, just kind of fell into it. I work with a professional skydive team. So that's, the joke. But anyway, but through them, I found a new sense of direction, new purpose. And, we do a lot within the veteran community, the Gold Star families as well. And then recently, probably the past 6 years, families of fallen law enforcement. And those are the stories that need to be told the most because that veteran's not here to talk about their story anymore. That first responder's not here to talk about, their path, but their family can talk about their path. And, no one's going to be more passionate about their loved one than the family. and being able to, and that's the thing, you have veterans on, and the easiest thing to do should be able to talk about yourself, and sometimes it's the hardest thing to do. But with platforms like Willis is here and yours, especially especially if it's not video and the veteran can't see themselves, they're more apt to open up and talk about their life events, and that may help another veteran or a Gold Star family, or even somebody that has had struggle and adversity, and that veteran story may help them get past whatever their trauma is or whatever their adverse situation was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
I got some guests that I want to send you. Like Sam's going to be one. Then Scotty Hastings is going to be another.
I learned about Scotty through you when he was on the show.
Yes, Scotty was amazing.
And then I had to watch, because he went to the Grand Ole Opry. I had hours and hours of enjoyment thanks to you on his music.
Nice. And then I think I introduced you to Theory as well. The Marine Corps veteran Ryan Dorfield, aka Theory. Then there's Marine Corps veteran Scotty Frazier out of Texas. He owns Sergeant Records. And then Brian Romans he's a co-founder of Label 22, which is another platform for veterans to get into the music business without signing a big record deal with like a big name label that's going to screw them over. And then he also has the Romans Warrior Foundation. So I got several people that I'm going to send your way to help you with some of your guests and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd be happy. That's great. Thanks.
Now you do the show with, let's see, your team, because I know you got a team. So is it your sister-in-law or your sister?
Yes. So Meg is the producer. She helps me because, as you know, to pull these types of things off, it's not just the time you're on screen, right? It's hours and hours afterwards. So I got a pretty I have a business that keeps me busy throughout the week. So Saturdays are really my only day to try to knock out my portion of it. So she is phenomenal. She's like day in, day out, email schedules, all the things that I would probably get bogged down and maybe discouraged with trying to catch up on. But then at the station, I'm blessed to have, like I said, it's a veteran-owned station. So the entire team there is helpful. Pretty much, I mean, I feel bad asking, but pretty much anything that I needed help with, they would be there for me. So fantastic engineer. Frank's out there. I don't have to tell you, the first time you do something like this, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, I didn't go to school to learn how to use the equipment or anything like that. So
right.
I often make the joke that if it wasn't for Meg and Frank, I probably would spend most Saturdays talking to a microphone that wasn't even plugged in.
Oh, dang. I've done that.
And then you get into things like the website and and we always want to help our guests post interview. So, when guests have been on and then something changes in their life, let's say they change jobs or they have something new, like we've had a few authors that come up with a new book, something like that. We want to update that. And that's time, right? So I'm blessed that I have people in my life that they saw this as a hobby for me that they didn't want me to give up on. So they all kind of rallied together and helped me pull it off.
Yeah, that's phenomenal when you have a good team to support you to help further your mission. In turn, it's helping them, but it's also helping you. And that's with Lima Charlie says my brother Rob would do that.
Not plug in the mic.
Not plugging the mic.
Meg, she must be watching. Yeah,
I must have done that with Candace a time or two because
Meg's a rock star. You look at the website and everything online; that's all her. People go, "Oh, I like what you posted."
Not me.
It's Meg. So
all credit to Meg. All hail Meg if she's there.
Well, I did notice that
she says I am watching.
So you have the Lima Charlie on Facebook. But then you also have the new Facebook page as well, which is the foundation / the Lima Charlie show. So when I found them earlier, I went ahead and sent out like 1,000 invites or 1,600 invites or whatever it was, just because trying to get everybody to follow the Lima Charlie show to see what you guys are putting out there. And
Sure.
I do like what Meg posts out there on content wise and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's fun, man.
Yeah, the foundation came about in a very organic way. Again, just like syndication, it wasn't something I was looking to do. It just kind of, I started thinking long term. If the show's supposed to be a veteran talking to another veteran, and I'm not around, I want another veteran to carry on the baton, so to speak. So I didn't want the rights. This isn't for money or business for me. So all the rights I put into nonprofit, and specifically, it's a veterans nonprofit. It's not your typical 501c3. It's a 501c19.
Nice.
Which is, it's kind of a more rare, more defined charter where it has to be carried on by veterans. It was important to me to do that. I've been part of a lot of fantastic organizations in the past, but the pandemic gave me a time to kind of sit back and analyze what I really liked about my volunteer time and what I didn't like.
Yeah.
And I took the time to make sure that the foundation's structured in a way that if I'm not around, I'm still going to like what it does. And that's kind of like I don't want to say legacy, but it's something that was real important to me. Is my values that, I even capped it off that if somehow it ever turns into a foundation where someone's getting paid, I capped it off at an E4 pay scale.
Nice.
I love it. No, I like how you did that, where you capped it off, because there's a lot of these 501c3s out there, because that's what we primarily interview is 501c3s.
Sure. And there's nothing wrong with it. I want to do it a little bit different. I'm kind of
I agree. Yeah. I like the C19. What I'm saying is that with the 501c3, a lot of time you're civilian people that are volunteering their time. They're not really volunteering because they're getting paid to do that. Now, I'm not saying all of the organizations are that way, but there's a lot of them, and a lot of them look at it as a paycheck, because running a nonprofit, if you work a 40-hour day and then you decide to volunteer, well, you can work another 40 hours after you get off your normal day job. So a lot of them is like, oh, well, I need to get paid. And they don't want to do it unless they're getting paid. And with the C19, you do, because I've looked into that as well. But the difference between all the different 501c, whatever, 319, there's a bunch of them out there,
right.
And 19 looks like to be the best one that you can. It's more streamlined for the veterans to be in charge. Because I think you have to be like 75% veteran as a C19, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah.
And as a C3, I think it's like 25%. Got to be veteran. So, now your shows go live. I know I looked at it a while ago.
Well, I typically try to accommodate the veteran guests the best I can. We do have. I've had some that are local, so we meet at the station when we do it that way. Sometimes I do remote. You'll see a lot of my content has the same background. I'm here, kind of like a home office, if you will. And, but you got to accommodate people's schedules. So there are some segments that are, and a lot of the interviews wind up being pre-recorded, but then we broadcast it all together with the other segments. It gets broadcast on Saturdays out of the flagship station at 4 p.m. Eastern.
So, like my episode coming up this Saturday,
correct,
will be
correct.
4 p.m.
Yeah, you start at your audience for sure, because we have a 2-hour program, and you are at the 5 o'clock hour. You have the full, you're not only just the closer, you're the whole B side of this fantastic album.
Nice, I love it.
If people want to catch you like right from the minute you start talking, that would be just after. Some stations carry a news break, but if you go to the LimaCharlieShow.com, there's a little button there that says "Listen Live." If they do that right at 5 o'clock, it should start right where you and I start to have our conversation.
Nice. Where's the Listen Live button? Because I'm on the Lima Charlie
main
show.
Page, right at the top border. There should be a little button that says "Listen
Live."
Live."
This is live stream here on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Yep.
So
it's right there.
Your segment is starts right at it goes from 5 to 6.
Awesome. I am definitely, I don't even listen to like a lot of my interviews, but I think I'm gonna go back and listen to your interview with me.
Don't feel bad. I don't listen to myself most weeks. I go bowling instead. Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Uh, so I just posted the link out there again. So it's the LimaCharlieShow.com. And then right at the top in the banner, right underneath the Lima Charlie Show, it says live stream here. And you just click on the here button. So, uh, well, I know you got a hard stop here in about 10 minutes. So what do you want to touch on that we haven't touched on?
Well, I think like you, the three of us have in common here is really just reminding our fellow veterans and first responders that, we've all experienced what we've experienced, good, bad, and the ugly. And some of it can be fun if you have someone to talk about it with. And some of it can be devastating if you don't have someone to talk about. So I guess my only overall theme there is people need to just reach out. It's whatever mountain you think you got in front of you, there's someone with a shovel, and they love you. So you just got to reach out to your buddies.
Yeah, we say that quite a bit. You have to, if you're talking to your friend, you got to reach out to them, but you also have to ask that next hard question, because you and Sam and I can go to either one of you and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" And you're going to be like, "I'm fine,"
Yeah.
even though you're tore up inside.
Yep.
And that's when you have to ask that next hard question: How are you really doing?
Yeah.
And then you got to be ready for that conversation. You have to be. It could be a 15-minute conversation, could be a 3-hour conversation, could be a 15-hour conversation. You have to be ready for that conversation. We always talk here, Candace and I, and it's one veteran at a time. That's what we focus on. If I help that one veteran today, then I succeeded in my mission for today. And then tomorrow, I continue on that mission tomorrow, and look for that next veteran to help. And I love what you're doing with bringing veterans in and having them tell their story, because everybody does it differently, and it's you might not think you have a story to tell, but like Sam said earlier, you got a different perspective than somebody else that you might have served with. Everybody has a story to tell. My dogs are going crazy upstairs. Can y'all hear them?
Oh yeah.
Son of a biscuit. All right. But yeah, so everybody's got a story to tell.
Yeah.
But the listener has to be prepared too, because my son's godfather is a Marine. He's still in. He's, I think, at his 26-year mark now. His entire time in the Marine Corps has been in the aviation. And him and I went to a couple NASCAR races together. And then one day I just had to let out the demons. I just had to spew what was coming out of my mouth. And I was telling him things that I was feeling, what I experienced. And he just looked at me like I had 5 eyeballs. I'm like, listen, I don't need you to fix me. I just need to get this out. I need someone just to listen and just make sure that I'm good. And now when we're together and he can tell, and he asked me, he goes, are the sharks swimming or are you good? And, so it's one of those things that even a veteran may not understand what you're going through, because they didn't experience that, because they may have served during the peacetime. They may not have deployed. They, even though if they did deploy into a combat zone, they may not have left the base because of their job didn't allow them to. So the veteran or whoever's listening needs to be prepared for what's about to come out of the mouth.
Yeah. And I would encourage any folks out there, any service members out there, I think we all have this weird, I'm not sure how to explain it, but we have such a high level of expectation in ourselves that nobody on the planet has for us. So when we think we're failing, we're missing out on realizing all the things we've actually accomplished. And it's really easy to beat yourself up because you think you're going to be whatever, I think because, at least in my experience, when I left the service, I knew in my mind what I wanted to do. Like, hey, when I get home, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Like in my mind, boom, boom, boom. Well, that never works. It just doesn't. You might get there eventually, but it's never boom, boom, boom. It's a wonky road at best.
Oh yeah.
And I try to encourage people that are feeling that way. They're just feeling beaten down. It's like, don't forget what you've already accomplished. Forget about even if you went to war or any of that stuff. Forget about that. You were at one point some probably lazy, distracted teenager who picked up a brochure or watched the wrong commercial, and you wound up working for Uncle Sam, and you went from being a couch potato to a lean, mean, disciplined fighting machine, being yelled at by strangers and working with strangers on things you never thought you would have never predicted you could have done. And you did that in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, you're part of 6% of the entire U.S. population that has served in some capacity.
Yep. And
right?
it's
and then you look at currently serving, it's 1%.
Yeah, it's 1%.
So I mean, think about that.
Yep.
Think about that just for a second. 6% of the entire U.S. population from 1776 to now, 6%.
Yeah, and the big difference, I'll say, Gunny, of why people forget what you accomplished in boot camp. Even let's just talk about boot camp.
Yeah,
everything else being equal, boot camp everyone goes through. You went from a couch potato to a fighting service member, discipline and all that stuff. It's because there was a lot of time and effort put into the training, and there's an SOP on everything, including how to make your bed, right?
Yep, for sure.
To your point, Gunny, when you left the service, you only had basically 2 weeks of knowledge that it was even happening. So where was your SOP on getting out? There's no SOP on getting out. It's a lifelong process. So who do you rely on? You have to rely on other veterans. You got to be smart enough to go, okay, I'm not the first one to get out of service. I got to talk to someone that's already done it, because there's no book. I don't know why. We should have all written one by now, but there's no book.
Well, and it constantly changes too, right? So you have your separations and your taps and all this, and it's like, oh, it's not 1500, it's 3 p.m. It's not this anymore. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing ever. So for me, I served 14 years and change. 9 of it I spent in the infantry. They train you for war, train you for war, train you for war, train you for war, train you for war. Even in peacetime, as an infantry guy, they don't train you to come home. Right. They don't train you for that transition. And if they do, it's a 2-week transition. So 4 years you serve of training, becoming the best that you can be in whatever branch you are. You get 2 weeks to transition, to leave everything that you've known for that 4 or 40 years. And then, I was a gunny. I still had to answer to somebody. The commandant of the Marine Corps still has to answer to somebody.
Yep. So
no matter how long you serve, there is a schedule or a plan put in front of you every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And expectations put in front of you every single day.
Yeah.
When you get out, they're not there. I think the only thing that helped me is being a recruiter, because my schedule and my success or failure was based on me and how I did my schedule. Now I had recruiter instructors and everything that was up my butt, or the CO if I didn't put somebody in the Marine Corps. But for me, it wasn't about the number of people I was putting in. It was about the quality of the person. But again, my success or failure was based on me. A drill instructor has a schedule, a set schedule. You have to be here at this time. You have to be here at this time. Everything that happens in between there, the training, the drill, the ceremony, the history, all that stuff. Yes, they're teaching, but they have a block that says, teach this from now to now.
Right.
You don't have that when you transition out.
Yeah.
And they're getting a lot better. And I'm not saying that they're not, but they're still not helping a lot of people, especially the ones that are getting them medically separated, that you don't know when that's happening. At the end of 4 years, you're like, okay, I know my end date's here. Well, I planned on being a full career Marine and going to 30 if I was able to. But again, 14 years and change, here you go. You're done. 2 weeks.
So when I got out in 01 the first time, I didn't get a 2-week decompressing kind of thing. I had to turn in all my gear because I had 30 days terminal leave. So that last month, all right, you need to go here, turn in all your
medical,
gear.
dental, supply.
Right. But I didn't get a course of hey, you're transitioning back to civilian sector. This is what you need to be ready for. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
And then even when I got recalled back in, right after 9/11, and I got out in 04, there was still no 2-week kind of course or anything like that. But now, they have all these different organizations out there that, and plus you can do the what is it, 60 to 90 day transition now, where you can actually go work in the civilian sector, but you're still active military.
But that has to be approved though by your command, right? So if you're mission capable, they're not going to let you go. It's again, but I mean, SEPs and TAPs for somebody that's not retiring, I think is a 2-day course. It's like 2 8-hour day classes with an hour break.
I used to say you almost need a reboot camp. You have to
reboot
the brain and your civilian mindsets.
So here, Miss Betsy Ross, she is an Army veteran, and she wrote the book series called Fight. You probably need to look her up or have.
She wrote a couple books. I actually picked up one of them. So she wrote. There's a few series, right?
Yes,
I'm on book 4 right now.
I saw that. I picked up the first one. I haven't gone past it, but I will. Yeah.
So you definitely need to have Megan reach out to her to have her on your show as well.
Yeah, so, I don't read anymore, so I listen. So my first question always is it on Audible? I'm always driving. I mean, I did a 10-hour trip to New Jersey and then 10 hours back. So I think I'm on book 4 of hers, probably about halfway through. I got an hour and a half left, maybe.
Hey Betsy, just give you a heads up. Sam's got some questions about book 4.
Yeah, we'll
we were talking about that last night about book 4.
We can get into that after we let Rob go. He's only got a few more minutes here.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, you can go to LimaCharlieShow.com. You can see all their guests through there from 2022 to 2023 plus 2024. You can see their mission statement. You can actually see and if you're live, they can call in, right? If I remember correctly.
No, we don't. We haven't done that. I was going to give that shot a while back, but I really wanted to make sure that the veteran could share their story without interruption, so we didn't have the lines open.
Okay.
So, but they can stream anywhere, even if it's not in a station that's local. And if there's someone out there that has a station, like a good talk show station, they could always call up the radio station and say, hey, you guys should look into the Lima Charlie show. Because here's the other thing. We don't charge for it. The stations can pick it up. They can pick it up. They can run their ads, do what they want, pay their bills. That's fine. We just want to get these stories out there. That's my only goal. So the louder and clearer, the better, right? So
that's right.
Yep.
Folks can always call up a radio station like I did and say, look, here's a show ready for you. You can just plug it in. It's free. And anyone can listen online if they're not within range.
Nice. Now you are on Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can also access the archive full episodes on SoundCloud, all from the websites, which is
just the LimaCharlieShow.com. Everything's at the bottom there. Yep.
Awesome. All right, my friend. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about real quick before we let you go? Because I know you got to get out of that building.
Just want to thank you both and keep doing what you're doing. Keep charging forward. I appreciate it, and I appreciate what you guys are doing with your time and effort and skills for our fellow veteran community.
Yeah, awesome. Meg just posted. Yes, bios are also on their website, so they can get the little bio of who they're listening to as well.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Rob, it was our pleasure. Get out of that building before you get locked in there. Get locked in there. And we will be talking soon. Megan, I will send you all these names that we've talked about and then some. So you're going to be busy for a little bit, Megan.
All right, John. God bless you all. Thanks for the time.
You too, Rob. Thank you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
All right, Mr. Sam, how cool is that?
So cool that there's people out there like you guys getting the veteran story out there, and I think part 2 for me is coming up on the oath we took probably tomorrow, I think. So and just to be able to get a lot of things off your chest, or even when you're talking about your life events, your story in discussions, you remember things, or the host will ask a question that sparks something, and it's just so cool. And especially like Rob's out there doing that, and for the veterans and you guys and so many others.
Oh yeah, I mean there's so many great platforms out there for veterans, and like Rob and Megan and the team there with Lima Charlie Show. they reached out to me and said, "Hey, we want you on the show," and it's no brainer. I'm on their show. I'm going to have them on my show to talk about what they're doing for veterans up in New York and wherever that syndicated. That because I'm assuming there's a lot of areas that they're syndicated in where that station is. I'm gonna see.
Well, again, and like Rob said, even if they're not, you can click the Spotify's, the LinkedIn's, the YouTube's, the Facebook, and listen to it, as it's going on.
Yeah, for sure. So guys, check out Lima Charlie Show at limacharlieshow.com. You can find them on Facebook. You find them anywhere on your platforms. And you can reach out to them. There's a phone number there. There's also an email there. And then let's talk about Miss Betsy Ross, because we had a conversation about Miss Betsy Ross last night in her books, because you were telling me that you were into book 4. So Miss Betsy,
is she still on? First and foremost, is she still on?
Yes, Miss Betsy, are you still there? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
And it's not bad. I'm not gonna trash anybody. It's I just had a question.
She might still be there. If not, I can also give her the link if she was in Kansas last night. She was on her way back from Nebraska.
Oh, she's still there.
All right, she's still there.
Yeah. So my question is, again, I'm into book 4. I'll just look right here because I got my phone with me. I have an hour and 12 minutes left. So listen to all the books. Do you get to pick the person that is reading the book for the Audible?
I should be playing Jeopardy music right now.
No.
So did you hear the question, Miss Betsy? Let's see what she says.
No, and the reason I asked is the guy that's narrating is Irish, or
there are auditions that take place.
Yeah. So he's putting the different voices to the characters that are in the book, and I can't remember which character he is doing, but when he does it, I'm like, what did that dude just say? So I had to rewind it twice just to see if I could pick it up because of his accent and then the tone that he's putting in that character. But he does some of the females a really good justice. And then when he does one character with a Texas Southern accent, and you can hear him plain as day, I'm like, so how does it equate from an Irish accent to Texas accent that you go from, Irish gibberish to, hey y'all, how you doing today? Blah blah blah. But no, it's she said British. Yeah. But yeah, it's that there was one character that I was like, man, I got to go back and listen to that. And of course, I'm traveling too, so there's road noise. But no, the books are phenomenal. She said when she was on that they are intense. They touch on veteran subjects that a lot of people don't want to touch on, and she's not lying. Even book 1, book 1 kicks you right in the face within the first, 2 or 3 chapters. And then it just continues. But yeah, there's a lot of things that she's talking about in those books that definitely will and can resonate with a lot of people in the veteran community, in the first responder community, because they see just as much, if not more, trauma than veterans do, or anybody that's experienced a traumatic event themselves. So yeah, the books are great. Again, I won't. Oh wow, very cool.
Yeah, I definitely can't. So I'm gonna get the hardback copy, and then I'm gonna have to do the audio too, because I'm like you. I don't like reading books, but now if I have it in front of me and I'm listening to it, I can do that. But
yeah, it's not. I don't mind reading. At a certain point, my mind just starts doing this.
Yes,
and when I'm driving, I'm focused on the road, and I can hear, what's going on. So I've got a trip coming up Friday. I'll finish this at last hour and 12 minutes on Friday, and I'll definitely go in and give a review after I'm done. But yeah, great job on those books. Especially, it's just pretty phenomenal that you shared that with all of us, and continue to share it through podcasts like Willis's. And but yeah, hopefully more people can download it or order it and really see the passion that you put into your books and your storytelling.
And if you want to order her books, you can go to fightwithbetsyross.com. That's fightwithbetsyross.com. And you can order the books there. You can also order them on Amazon as well. There are also audiobooks, like Sam just said, they're on audiobooks as well. So definitely go check out Miss Betsy Ross's books. And also, if you have TikTok, go follow her on TikTok. She's looking to get over 1,000 followers on TikTok so she can go live on TikTok. So if you got TikTok, go follow Miss Betsy Ross on TikTok.
Well, I don't have TikTok, but my 18-year-old does. And I'm going to send him your way.
There you go. There you go. But no, Sam. So you got Navy game coming up, and what else you got coming up this weekend?
Dude, so much craziness. No, just Navy this weekend, and then I come back and have a doctor's appointment for gastro, and then Wednesday I take off to Hawaii for a week. Come back from Hawaii, and I roll right into a golf outing. Then the 4th and the 5th we have the Mogadishu Mile, and then I'm home for 3 days, and then I take off to Topeka, Kansas, from the 9th to the 14th, I think, and then come home for a day, roll south to college football, and then take that next day and drive to Mississippi for, another college football game, and then I get about a week break at the end of the month. So yeah, busy time for the skydive team. I think we've had 20 performances over the past 2 weeks, everywhere from New Jersey, where I was this weekend, New York for NASCAR, all the way down to southern Mississippi for football, and everywhere in between. So,
do y'all have vendors at the Moog Mile? I can't remember.
We don't, because all the proceeds that come in get split between Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals Warrior Foundation and the Three Rangers Foundation. And we're wanting to, I can't say capitalize on the donations or everything that comes in, but those two organizations, especially, I've been involved with Blue Skies since 2014. I think was the first year that they did their event, and there was 27 Purple Heart recipients and a Gold Star family. And then we met a Gold Star family just by chance going through the event and the things that we did. And then they slowly included more Gold Star families and families of fallen first responders. So I know where the funds are going for that. I know how they're being spent. And I attend the event every year as a member of Team Fast Tracks. And then with the Three Ranger Foundation, the money that goes to them goes out to fallen Ranger families or a Ranger family that has just had extreme hardship, and they help them out. And then we've had the president of Three Rangers Foundation at a couple of events here the past couple of years. Great group of people and everything that they're doing within the Ranger community.
I was just thinking if Betsy wasn't booked up that weekend, she could come into the Moog Mile and talk about her book there. That's what I was thinking. But
yeah, I mean, we try not to, just because of what the event is. It's a fitness event, but more than anything, it's a memorial event for the 19 guys that made the ultimate sacrifice between October 3rd and October 6th in 1993. So, our main focus is to honor those 19 guys. I mean, even just this weekend, I made an hour drive to one of the cemeteries up in New Jersey where Dominic Capillo is buried, and was able to lay a Mogadishu Mile coin on his marker to, if he still has family there, to let them know that, his sacrifice was not being forgotten. And there are people out there that remember the Battle of Mogadishu and those that did die during the battle.
Well, Betsy's a fitness guru. She might come run the mile.
Get a team of 4. We'd love to have you.
That'd be pretty neat. That'd be pretty neat to have Miss Betsy come out and run the mile. We're going to be up there, so the wife and I are going to come up. I think Candace might come up with me as well. We're going to do a live from there. So we're going to be look, she said she's hell yeah. So we'll send her the details of the
Moog
Mile. and see if she gets a team of 4 together and she can run the Moog Mile.
I can't remember. Facebook is Mogadishu Mile, Kentucky, or Kentucky Mogadishu Mile.
Hold on, I'll throw it out there in 1 second. I think it's Moog Mile, Kentucky. Maybe.
Mogadishu Mile, Kentucky, yes.
Mogadishu, Kentucky. If I could spell.
Yeah, that's a good event. I mean, this year, we're hoping to have more teams than we had last year. We had 30-some teams last year, and we're hoping to increase that. But the night before, we have a dinner this year, and then a small silent auction, small live auction. We've got Rolling Thunder, Kentucky, that's going to come in each night to help kick off the event. Team Fast Tracks is jumping in with the American flag on Friday to kick off the dinner, and then we'll do our small memorial ceremony. Have some good chow, and then Saturday we kick it off sharp at 10 o'clock, and hopefully we have good weather. We've had good weather the past couple of years, and if it's raining, we ain't training. So let's make it happen.
That's right. Betsy, I'll send that to you. You can also go to the website too. What's the website, Sam?
It should be under Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals Warrior Foundation, or Warrior WTR should be the registration for that.
I was going to send it to her. Blue Skies.
You got me thinking too much here, Willis.
I know, right? That's it's warriorwtr.com.
Yeah.
Let's see where
there should be an events thing, and the Mogadishu Mile thing should be there somewhere on the drop down.
I just see
they don't. Yeah, they didn't put it up this year.
Yeah, they didn't put it up there this year.
I'll get you the link anyway, so you can see it.
Yeah, we'll send you the link, Miss Betsy. So yeah, we got the November 9th. We have the Veteran and First Responder Suicide Awareness Concert, our 3rd annual, coming up. Then we got the Veterans Day Parade on November 9th this year in downtown Louisville.
On the Saturday?
Yeah, it's on Saturday, yeah. Down here in Louisville, which is weird because that's the same day as our Suicide Awareness Concert too, which is not fun, but it'll be all right because people in Mount Washington don't usually travel to downtown Louisville anyway, so... I think we'll be all right. And so all proceeds this year from the 3rd annual concert will be going to Camp Hero, Kentucky, which Rocco is an amazing guy. Sam can vouch for Mr. Rocco. And then next year we're going to pick another organization to donate to. So the first year we went to Dogs Helping Heroes, or the second year we went to Dogs Helping Heroes. This year is going to go to Camp Hero. The first year went to Veterans Club Kentucky. So next year will be another organization that we're going to donate to. 100% of the proceeds go to that organization. I don't take no money. Rick don't take any money. We're paying for the venue out of pocket. All the vendors come in, all that money. So the vendors, the food trucks are $100 for the day. That $100 goes into what we give to Camp Hero. We're not taking anything out of that. So there will be 2 beer vendors there. One is Derby City Tap Room, which is veteran owned. Actually, he's still active duty in the military. He's a captain in the Army. He's going to be coming out with his Derby City Tap Room, and I think we're going to have Gallant Fox Brewery there as well, which that's another veteran owned brewery. So we'll have two alcohol vendors that are veteran owned. Then we're going to have veteran owned food trucks there. So come out if you're in the Kentucky area. Come out November 9th. It starts at 11 a.m. It goes to 11 p.m. So come check that out. But Sam, it's about that time, my friend.
Yep. Yeah, I just sent you the link to it's registermoga.com. I sent to your cell phone.
All right. I'm gonna send it to Miss.
Yeah, so it pulls up the register a team, purchase dinner tickets, all that good stuff is on there.
Let's see if
Yeah,
I can.
I was looking forward to come down on the 9th. Unfortunately, I have University of Cincinnati jump. I say unfortunately. I love going to UC. It's one of our most difficult stadiums that we jump into, and the crowd is always amazing. So, I mean, go Bearcats.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm
But
wearing.
no, yeah.
Got your Six Culture shirt, which have you ordered a shirt yet?
I've not. Dude. I'm slacking. That's the excuse. I'm slacking. I've been lazy. No, I've been extremely busy the past few months, and it's so crazy with the team. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm still having fun. And when I get to the point that I'm not having fun anymore and it becomes an actual job, I will probably be done. And then you'll have me,
full time.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's going to happen. I just don't know when it's going to happen.
Right.
But
like I said, next week is 10 years on the team. Actually, what's today? 4 more days.
Four more days
will be my
10 years.
This is my 10th year anniversary on being on the team. So
that's a long time.
Yeah.
So you can see my warmer back here, right?
Yeah.
It's a marine warmer, and I turned it on, and I just got the smell. It smells good, but it's a real strong. So it just choked me up. I'm like, holy cow, man. But yeah, no, I'm excited for your 10-year anniversary, with Team Fast Tracks and everything that you guys are doing there. I'd like to come out to one of the stadiums that you jump into and watch y'all do that, which we'll have to do that soon before you retire. Because after you retire, I don't know if I'm going to go see it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so we'll be up.
It's so cool, man, just to watch a large American flag come into the stadium, whether it's a 20,000 people stadium or a 60,000 plus capacity stadium. Just the crowd goes stupid crazy.
Oh yeah. Well,
when they get about 800 feet, the crowd really sees the flag, especially at night, because they can't make it out. And then when it clears the lights of the stadium at about 800 feet, the crowd goes stupid crazy. And I'll key the mic so my jumper can hear the crowd going nuts. And, that just pumps them up to make sure they have a good landing when they come down. Just hopefully they don't put them on the Jumbotron with their delay, because that might screw them up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I've been to U of L home football games when I guess it's the Golden Knights that jump into U of L.
Yeah, we jumped last year. We did a mascot jump there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams out there. We're not the only one. I mean, there's the Knights,
several.
There's the Daggers, there's a lot of military teams. There are, and a lot of civilian teams.
Pete, what do you want to talk about, Mr. Pete Clinton? We don't have a call-in number at the present moment in time. We just had a guest on from the Lima Charlie show. But what do you want to talk about, Mr. Pete Clinton? But yeah, no, I love watching when the guys are parachuting in at U of L stadiums. Or actually, it's L&N now. It's not Cardinal Stadium anymore. It's L&N now. I think it's what it's called. But yeah, no. So LimaCharlieShow.com. You can listen. You can go out there, see the guest. You can listen live on Saturdays at 4 p.m.
Pete wants to know if you lost your neck in active duty.
Me? I got a neck. You just can't see it, man. That's messed up, bro.
Oh, what a way to close the show.
I know, right? That's messed up, man. God. I mean, I got broad shoulders. I mean, I do got a short neck. I ain't got a but you can't see it because my goatee is hiding most of my neck. So that's fucked up. That's fucked up, bro.
All right, Willis.
All right, it's that time, Sam. All right, man. Like we always say out there, stay safe out there. We got your six. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.